project. Clearly, there's some very passionate people.
Hey, you all, welcome back to the channel. And today we want to talk about Electroneum, this recent interview that was did with Block One, where I'm sorry, not Block One, Block TV, where the allegations of manipulation of the Electroneum price was talked about, and Richard Ailes got a chance to answer some of the questions in relation to that. So I just want to give my thoughts on that because I am kind of recently watching this video. I hadn't got a chance to look at it really up until now, and I did hear some of the community kind of speaking on it a little bit, but I didn't really get a chance to get deep into it. But I did just finish watching it not long ago, and I think that some of the things that came up, like some of the data that was used to determine if they believe the Electroneum price is being manipulated or something to that effect, basing it kind of on the number of users and the number of tweets coming off social media, and kind of combine that together. I'm not even really sure how that data exactly correlates to the price of Electroneum to the point to make an allegation like price manipulation. But in the beginning of that video, you kind of see that's what's going on. So the thing is, first of all, Electroneum can't really be compared like other coins out there that have similar, amounts of Twitter tweets and data of that sort, and the amount of attention it gets, simply because Electroneum has this monthly airdrop system, right? It's giving away tokens every month. So automatically, you're going to attract a lot more people than normal, right? Maybe than the cryptocurrencies is being compared to it, because they're giving away the free tokens right now. When what's happening with the free tokens, obviously, it's going to draw a lot of people who need money, probably a lot of people from developing nations, and they're going to probably come in, and they're probably going to need to then spend that money. So that effectively they're going to probably end up dumping the coin. So the amount of traffic that's coming through there, and the numbers that they're getting in the Alexa rankings and a variety of things, I have no doubt that that can be true, right? I think the real problem is about Richard Ailes, as he talks about under UK law. He doesn't want to interfere in that price. Now, of course, the 800-pound gorilla in the room is how many cryptocurrency projects do interfere in the price of their, of their coins. Like Richard Ailes brought up, they could have just taken their what was left of the war chest, right? And I'm assuming he says it's a lot of money. Let's just go with that. Could possibly be. But what he's saying is they could have easily just taken that money, and basically propped up the price of Electroneum, which I believe that as well could have happened. In comparison to other coins and projects, are they doing that? Yeah, more likely. More likely. I mean, the data's out. There's been several independent studies that have said that most of the cryptocurrency space projects and the trade volume is manipulated to some degree. And the numbers are staggering, they're just staggering. So when you see projects doing well right now, and if you're paying close attention to the price and the volume, well, don't rest so easy with that, because that may not necessarily be an indication of that is what's going to continue on forever. So Richard puts that out there. I thought that he answered those questions in a good way, just saying, hey, I'm not going to interfere with the price. I'm going to let the market determine what that price is. Now, with that said, we also have to factor, though, the idea that investors get involved with projects to be able to gain value from these projects. And the reality is we need speculators, right? So if you have a business and you have a project to this degree and you're not interested in drawing speculators, then I think you're kind of misunderstanding the importance of needing speculators to bring liquidity to the market. Nobody says they don't need speculators or aren't interested in speculators. No business in the world that I know of does that. So I think Richard Ailes might kind of have a myopic view of how the entirety project works. Another thing I kind of disagreed with is he said that they got this war chest of money, they can market whenever they want, but they're trying to figure out the best place to put the money. Now, I don't know what they're doing all day in the office, but it ought to be like a marketing department there that I think over the last since the ICO started, what was over a year now or something like that. I do kind of believe that they could have by now marketing team could have found out the best way to spend that money on marketing, right? As opposed to saying, well, we don't want to waste money on marketing, so we choose to do nothing at this point. I do find some problems with that. I find it a problem in that there has to be, whenever you're involved in a business, right? Okay, sorry, a few distractions around me I had to get rid of, but so what I was saying about when you're dealing with speculators and when you're dealing with the overall encompassing parts of a business, um, in a business, it's two parties usually, at least two, and these parties have they share a mutual benefit. That's why they go into business together. And for the Electroneum investor, it's going to be the value of the coin going up, right? That's all it could be, really. You cannot really benefit from it in any other way. Of course, you can benefit from the social aspects of it, like what it does to the world. It makes brings some economic freedom to the world. They can use this electronic currency in their local economies to maybe do things they couldn't do before. So in that way, yes, we get that benefit. But from the economic portion of it, which is part of why a lot of investors went into this, without speculators providing liquidity, without the value of the coin going up beyond the price that you bought it at, then in this business, it's starting to feel like a one-sided business, right? Also, when you think about just traditional business, like you're a CEO and your shareholders, the stock values falling, right? CEO is concerned about that, right? He's so concerned about that, he's going to go have a shareholders meeting about that. And he's going to talk about the price of the company and the stock, and hopefully what he says and the moves they make, that's going to reflect positive in that price and get shareholders who are invested in the business back, at ease, right? So although the project shares many of the aspects of what you'll get in traditional business, it doesn't share that mutual benefit part at this point in time for many of the investors. Because when you go back to the ICO price, which was at a penny, the host was quoting, a much higher value, saying that it's lost about 96%. Richard Ailes says it's really lost about 50% because he's from the initial ICO price is where we bought into Electroneum, right? That price has dropped, right? It's continuing to drop. But I guess the other thing I would be concerned about is I would say something to the effect of Whereas many of these other cryptocurrency projects, well, we're pretty certain they're probably propping up the price to some degree. If they're not directly physically propping up the price, sure, they're marketing in a way to kind of boost that price, which under UK law, as Richard L. seems to be suggesting, it would be illegal, right, to some degree, or put them in trouble. And I'm not a United Kingdom attorney, right? So maybe some of you all can help me that are or understand UK law and understand maybe securities laws a little bit. I understand in the United States, I was a licensed broker for years, but maybe it's something a little bit different going on over there. But um, you know, the way things work over here is that really, I mean, once you take ICO money, right? At that point in time, it's kind of up to the SEC to determine if you've taken those funds under the proper legal requirements, right? A lot of these ICO projects that took money, large sums of money, 30, $40 million, $100 million, $1 billion, many of them would be classified as a security, how many of them are run. Now, if you're dealing with something like Bitcoin, Ethereum, they might be declared not a security as they weren't declared securities. Something like Ripple, XRP, kind of still up in the clouds with that. But I would imagine that if the SEC came after Ripple XRP, they could simply just pay whatever fines and get regulated. It's not like Ripple XRP. It's cash strap. Uh, Electroneum. So my concern with a lot of the wording that Richard Ailes is giving and his concern about UK law in that way is, I mean, if really it's a question of, the legal requirements, being followed to the T, I would think that that might be somewhat a concern, taking the ICO money. Now, it would seemingly be simple too, with forming all this corporation of Electroneum, forming all these a variety of partnerships and things like that. It would almost just seem like it would be a lot easier just to get regulated, right? Fully regulated, as a security, right? And in that way, I would think that things will be a lot easier, they work a lot easier. And I had even proposed ideas like just, and other projects are doing this as well. There's several cryptocurrency projects that uh, have become regulated, and they're allowing an option for you to be able to move your cryptocurrency into shares in the business itself. And I don't think that would be a bad move for Electroneum. Just seeing how they're structured, because Electroneum's not structured like a lot of other cryptocurrencies. They're actually going into the business world, signing contracts on the dotted line with big telecommunications companies and mobile operators and charitable organizations and a variety of things like that. So they're certainly operating on a totally different level. Um, but it just would seem to me a little easier to do that. But as far as the conversation about manipulation and is Electroneum doing that, I don't think so. I don't think they're doing that. And like Richard Ellis was saying, if they were doing that, it looks like they would, that price would move in a direction other than just down, right? They would probably, if they were really manipulating it from the inside, manipulating it, it would probably work a lot different, right? So I don't believe that at all. But now, are they? I think they might misunderstand though the how business the how to be careful with this, because this type of setup hybrid structure, what Electroneum is a little bit different from a lot of things we've seen before, business we've seen before. But I would say that it could come off to investors with the price just going down, 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 and no matter how much good news comes out, how many partnerships comes out, it's just going down, 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 down. It could. come off to them as some type of neglect to the investor, right? And I'm not really even clear how to say they deal with that or what approach would be best to that. Because even conversations, as Richard Ailes has spoke about of the price, he's concerned about the UK law in that regard. So it's almost like the there's two projects going on here. It's like the electronic business, and then it's this cryptocurrency that's kind of just this money that we're trying to treat like an asset because we're trying to treat it like an asset because we want the value to go up. But it's more just this transactional currency that doesn't move in an appreciating way, and it moves in a downward means, and it seems to only move down at this point. And so, for the nature of treating it like an asset, it won't work, right? But then it's this company that is Electroneum that we have to assume at this point has tremendous value because, they're creating these partnerships. They do have this product, and we know it has to be worth something, and it just doesn't seem to be keeping up with the value of the partnerships that are being formed. I guess we'll have to take with that what we can. As Richard said in conclusion, he doesn't talk about price. He certainly doesn't tell anybody to go out and purchase Electroneum, right? We certainly try to do this. Try not to do it on this channel. We don't. I've never told a person to go out and purchase Electroneum. I've talked about if I was going to go purchase some Electroneum, it'll be a decision that I would make solely, and that you all should do your research. And if that's what you want to do, I've always liked the project, and I like the the use case of it, and the planning of it, and the structure of it. But we also have to consider that there are no perfect plans, just perfect intentions, and not everything works in cryptocurrency the way that we think it should. And I think my last video, you can watch it, is talking about this $1.7 billion project on the Steam blockchain that I'm involved with. I believe that can bring $1.7 billion into the Steam blockchain. I talk about why that's possible because of figures like $7.7 trillion in gold, but there's only $700 billion in the world's biggest payment processors, which means that store of value and assets dwarf payment and money systems, right? But Electroneum is acting more like a transactional money and not an asset. So in that way, as far as treating it as an asset, some of us may find it to leave something to be desired, right? So it doesn't mean that the price won't go up. My personal opinion is actually I think it will go up. I don't know by how much, but I think it will be going up. Do I think they're going to have some hurdles? Yes, I think they're going to have some hurdles because I honestly am starting to feel like the cryptocurrency space doesn't translate well into traditional businesses. And this is nothing bad about Electroneum. I would have always liked this project and I always thought it was going to perform quite well. But I think what's happening in cryptocurrency is just having a good product is not enough anymore. There are certain tokenomics, right, that go into what makes an asset in cryptocurrency, what makes the value of your cryptocurrency go up. And if you don't understand that, then I think you are going to have problems with buying into certain cryptocurrencies and products. Electroneum is a good business, and according to Richard Ailes, they still got a lot of money, so they're going to be all right as a business, right? They don't need necessarily any more money. But you as the investor and myself as the investor, we're going to have a problem at this point as far as can we recoup our investment out of this. I'm optimistic about it still. I'm not blaming the Electroneum team, but what I am saying is a good business doesn't translate necessarily well into a good value of a cryptocurrency, right? There may not be the type correlation between the two that we like to think, right? In a perfect world, a company will perform good, it would create use and value to people, and the price would go up. But there are more complicated things at play in cryptocurrency, and all these things working together don't always equal a clear, clean formula to achieving that. So uh, that's where we're at with it, guys, right? And it's just a matter of what you do next with that information. Do you stick with Electroneum, the project itself, and just find joy in the project succeeding, or do you hope the price goes up? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, and you cut your losses, or you hold off until it explodes. I don't know. That's a decision, guys, you're going to have to make for yourself. But if you're the type of person who likes to make money in cryptocurrency, which I am, uh, just going to tell you real quick about the Uptrends project. It's probably one of the only other projects besides my own that I really like and think that there's a tremendous amount of opportunity left in the cryptocurrency space. So I'm going to leave a link in the description. You get like 100 tokens just for using my link. Sign up. I get 100 too, and they pretty much process the money right away. There's really no holding periods with it. That's about $2 each every time you sign up. So I would invite you all to give that a shot, give it a try if you're the kind of people who like to make money, and if you're the kind of people who like me, I'm one of these people too who feel that the fundamentals of a good project is still the best way to go and still best ways to put your money, um, you know, then Electroneum is where you should be sticking at, right? But that's all I got to say in this video. If you all like content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and until next time, take care.